to make them happy, fine, that's okay. I just don't want to give my rights up to my private property. I don't mind a public use easement, but I don't want it where I give up my rights and now it's borough land, whatever that means, because then that would then put my, I believe my septic system within that portion, which is already constructed from my little yurt. So I've spent a lot of money on roads around this area that I have not been compensated for. Some I have, a lot I have not. Bill Harriet and his good buddy Vern Monet, I actually built the vast majority of Judy Avenue from Mayfields to the west. And I was stiffed by Vern Monet, who told me that I was going to get access. So I had to sell my property that was to the west to the neighbor, and then I purchased this property. And then that's when I built up and around Bill Harriet's property to circumvent his gate, because he didn't want anyone going through there, and neither did Vern Monet, because then they couldn't get their money from my property, my friends that had property to the west. So I have, it's about $130,000 just on Emmanuel, and then across the top of my property to connect. It's about time, and our road all the way to the west to the next section line. I'm trying to do the best I can with everyone around there. It was an accident the building was put too close. I would like to clarify and get that all fixed. And if I do need to dedicate the bottom 30 feet to have fluidity, the only problem is there's a power pole right there and guy wires. Nobody's ever going to put it through. It doesn't even make sense. But if that's what staff really, really wants, then okay, fine. I just don't want to give up my private rights to it. You guys have any questions?
Thank you, sir. Does the board have any questions? Yes, Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is, Mr. LaRusso talked about the access actually being greater due to the road that you put in, so that 30 foot isn't available. Have you talked to the Department of Public Works about maybe reviewing physically the access that you've provided?
I believe Gary went in and talked to them and then kind of informed them that, hey, your guys' map doesn't match what's actually on the ground. But then we had already set up this meeting for you guys and us. And then I don't know if it doesn't sound like even the map was updated. I think we kind of ran out of time before you guys actually had all the information. And that's why I want to give that to you now.
Yes, you would like to comment?
I talked to Public Works about the most current physical and legal access out there built by Sam Dickinson. It was done via phone call Tuesday, the 12th at 2 p.m. Tammy Simmons and a few other department heads were on that phone call.
Any further questions? Anything from the board? Yes, Fred?
I'd just like to point out for the recording that that was petitioner's representative, Scott Holm, the surveyor, who works for the surveyor.
Correct.
Any more questions from the board? Is that it from the petitioner or petitioner's representative?
I propose to postpone this amendment or vacation until we get some further clarification for the board. Sounds like you guys might still have some questions. Any further questions from the board at this time?
Through the chair.
Yes, Mr. Leonard.
I would be willing to make a motion to continue if you're going to be able to work with the Department of Public Works to clarify that. I would personally, my concern is that if we do approve this and remove 6, there's still the we shall not otherwise in the legalese of how we do it. So I don't want to leave your petition, if it is approved, open for appeal. So I can say that I would be willing to make a motion for continuation.
I'd be willing to second that motion. I think that having a more up-to-date overview of this aerial would be beneficial for the board to make a fulfilling decision.
Okay, we're still in representative application, representative comments, so after I close this portion, I will solicit a motion. Anything else from the petitioner or the petitioner's representative, or any questions from the board? Two
None
secs.
here. Sam, you got anything?
Nope, I'm golden.
Mr. Leonard?
Through the chair, may I ask the staff regarding how such a motion would be construed and whether or not it would be appropriate to make it date uncertain or date certain?
Okay, so you're asking how to make a motion as far as what type of motion that you would make to continue it?
Yes, Ms. Buchanan, that it would appear that the petitioner is ostensibly asking for a motion for continuation, which is different than what the staff technically has before us. And so I'm just clarifying that if I were to make a motion to continue until the Department of Public Works business was settled or whatever it might be, would the staff support that, and would it be a motion to continue to a date uncertain or a date certain?
Whether or not you would continue it to a date certain or a date uncertain would be up to you, and it would also be up to the petitioner, because if we continue it to a date certain, that means that they have to have all that information provided by, prior to that date, so the staff report can be written. Also, as far as the aerials for this area, we go by what is provided by our GIS, and it depends upon when the pictures were taken. So we do not have anything that is available to us through the borough website as far as when that shows that that road has been constructed, because we can only go by the aerials that they have taken. And I believe the last time they took aerials of that section was in 2021 or 2022.
You have further questions, Mr. Leonard?
Thank you. Yes, through the chair, that I think satisfies what I had to wonder. And if it's feasible, I would like to make a motion to continue this case to a date uncertain.
Okay, before we get to that point, we need to close this portion. Is everyone satisfied with the asking questions of the petitioner from the board? Okay, seeing no more questions, we will close the comments period, and I will now open it up and entertain any motion on this request. Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Sorry for being out of order there. I make a motion to continue this case to a date uncertain.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any board discussion on this? Is there any objection to postponing till date uncertain? Postpone till date uncertain, unanimous decision of the board. That concludes the public hearings that were on schedule for today. Yes, Fred?
Let's make sure and specifically record that we are leaving the public portion open for the continuation as a we will be reopening it so that when we have the hearing again, there will be a public portion, because if we leave it closed now, then they wouldn't be able to speak. That way, you'll be given an opportunity to speak at the next meeting when it has come. There will be notifications sent out. Since we didn't do a date certain, you'll get a mailing letting you know when we will have the next meeting. You're also welcome through that time to contact Platting staff if you have any questions, and we'll try to help you out. So thank you, everybody, and you're doing a great job, man. It's a lot being thrown right into the wolves. You didn't even know it was happening when you walked in. So doing a great job.
Thank you, Fred, for that clarification. And the public portion on this application will remain open. So I see no miscellaneous items. So closing comments from Platting staff, officers, or?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to start with, we don't have any cases for the scheduled first meeting of February, so our next meeting will be February 15th. We have one case. We also have we have training scheduled. We have a session scheduled with Mr. Aschenbrenner. We will also be conducting elections for chairman and vice chairman of the board. And with that, I will segue into, I'm disappointed to say that this will be Mr. Leonard's last meeting. We have appreciated and it has been a pleasure working with you on the Platting Board. You've done a great job. I think you've left the Platting Board in good hands. I'm not real happy with the way it came about, but such is life. I don't expect you're going to be just hanging out in the audience or tuning into the live broadcast on the first and third Thursdays, but thank you for all the time and the effort you've put in. It has been greatly appreciated. And I appreciate the time that all of our members put in. There's a lot involved. I appreciate that the public comes and participates. This is the opportunity I get to tell you, this is how our government works. If we don't participate, we get the government we deserve. We start at the local level. This goes all the way up to the top. Participation in government is how it works. We might not get the answer we want, but we participated. It's heard, and I appreciate everybody's time. And Ms. Toronto, do you have anything for the board members?
I just want to say thank you for Mr. Leonard. It's been a joy working with you. We'll miss you.
Down to board comments. We'll start with Ms. Traxler.
Sorry to see you're leaving. That's all I have.
No comments here.
Mr. Leonard, I don't think I was aware this was your last meeting, but I've certainly enjoyed working with you, and you will be missed, and good luck, and thank you for your service.
It was a real pleasure serving on this board, members of the board, and certainly a real pleasure working with platting staff. Gave me a lot of confidence in the platting process with this borough, and especially the members of the staff that are actually making it happen. You guys do really hard, dense work and make it into something that's usable for the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Leonard. And with that, we are adjourned.